Hi, how's it going? At the moment of recording this video, it's currently the month of July, which can mean many things, including going to the beach, summer vacation, a lot of fun stuff. But to me, it means one thing in particular, which is the 50% Criterion sale at Barnes & Noble. So this was my 4th year in a row participating at the sale, and I bought a couple of Blu-rays, so I just wanted to showcase them to you guys. I just got the box in the mail, and I'm ready to unbox it for you guys. Now, just to clarify, I'm Canadian, so we don't have Barnes & Nobles here. So instead, what I do is I use this website that's called Unobstructed Views, and I think they're the official Canadian... I don't know what's the word, but they're the ones that sell Criterions to people in Canada. They're based in Ontario, and the reason why I buy from them instead of buying from the American Barnes & Noble website is that there's a lot more shipping fees for the Barnes & Noble website, which makes sense because they got to ship them from the United States, where this ships from Canada, so there's no international fees or anything. Now, if you go on their website, you will notice that it's not a 50% sale, it's actually a 35% sale. But the amount of money that you lose because it's 35 instead of 50 is smaller than the money you would lose from the shipping if you buy it from the United States. So that's my tip for you guys. If you live in Canada, you should look at Unobstructed View. They've got really good customer service. I've been buying stuff from them for a couple of years, and I've got only good things to say about it. So I finally got it open, so without any further ado, let's take a look. All right, so first things first, I fucked up. And this is my first time fucking up something like that since I've been buying Criterions. I actually bought 2 of the same Criterions without noticing. I don't know how this happened. I actually checked when I finished my order just to make sure that I didn't fuck anything up. And somehow yesterday I got the email saying that the package is shipped. And when I looked at the order, I saw that I had 2 of the same Blu-ray. So I guess I'll have to find a way to sell it to someone or whatever. I'll just look it up in the Criterion subreddit, I guess. But I got All That Jazz twice. Now, All That Jazz, really good movie. I don't like it that much to have 2 copies, but whatever. I guess I'll just sell this to someone, whatever. But yeah, All That Jazz. That's a movie directed by what's his name? It's a movie directed by Bob Fosse, who I think mostly did theater work. I think he did a lot of stuff for Broadway and stuff like that. And, well, that's basically what this movie's about. It's about a dude that is a Broadway, musical director. And it's about basically his life where he's kind of a workaholic. And he's trying to juggle from his work life and his personal life. And, you know, he's divorced. He's got a child. And he wants to see his child more. But his wife doesn't really. He's got issues with his wife. And she doesn't want him to see his daughter too much. And it's a complicated situation. And this movie, basically, it's about being a workaholic. And it's about, you know, not being able to juggle between your work and your personal life. I can't fucking get this shit open. And yeah, it's a really good movie. It's kind of autobiographical. You know, it's about a Broadway musical director, and Bob Fosse was a Broadway musical director. And there's, without spoiling too much, in many ways, the main character in this movie is very similar to Bob Fosse. And there's a lot of similarities in their history. And that's a movie that I've been meaning to get on Criterion for a while. I feel like this is kind of an essential Criterion to have. And I really love this movie. I used to be a really big theater kid as a teenager. So seeing a movie about sort of the behind the scenes of Broadway is really fascinating to me. And yeah, so this is the inside here. It's got the traditional booklet. It's a decently thick booklet, which I like. Sometimes they've got booklets that are like 2 or 3 pages, and I don't like that. I feel like it's too. I'm not getting enough stuff for the price I'm paying for the Criterion. Looks here like we've got the traditional essay, the traditional stuff that we have for any Criterions. So I'm really excited to read all those essays. Besides that, there's an audio commentary with the editor. There's also a few scenes that have an audio commentary with actor Roy Schneider, who's the main character in this, who's also the main character in Jaws, for those who don't know. There's some interviews, some conversations with the actors. There's an episode of a talk show featuring director Bob Fosse and choreographer Agnès DeMille. There's some on-set footage. There actually seems to be a lot of bonuses for this, so I'm really excited to see what that's all about. And I hope I'll find a way to sell this somehow. Wish me luck. Next, this is another movie that I've been meaning to get for a really long time. It's not like the movie I see most people talk about in Criterion discussions, but it's Afterlife by Hirokazu Koreeda. Now, Koreeda is not the Japanese director I'm most familiar with. This is the only movie that I've seen from him, but it's such a good movie. Like, it's so good. For those who don't know, it's a movie basically about, it's kind of his take on what happens after you die. So in this movie, the way it happens is there's a group of people that, you know, they're recently deceased, and they're in this, like, I don't know what to call it. They're in this place where they're gonna stay for a week, and basically they have 1 week to decide what the best memory of their life was. And basically, once they've decided that, after the week is done, they're gonna spend the whole of eternity living that moment over and over again. So they're in a constant phase of living the best moment in their life. And it's a very wholesome way to look at death, and it's a very philosophical movie in many ways. It's very beautiful, and it's a movie that's really good at making you less scared of death. I love movies that talk about death in this way, not trying to make you necessarily scared of it, but instead trying to show you, you know, it's a normal part of life, and it's all right. It happens. You gotta live with that. So I'm really excited to be rewatching this because it's been a few years since I first saw it. So it's another very traditional booklet. Actually, you know what? I think that one's kind of small. I don't like when they do those types of the very long booklets like that, because usually it means that there's not as much stuff in it. I do think it's a bit thin for my liking, but whatever. I bought it because I like the movie, and I'm glad I have it. So as far as the bonuses go, there's an audio commentary, there's interviews with Koreeda and the cinematographer for the movies. There's some deleted scenes, and there's a trailer, and there's an essay. So it's not as packed bonus-wise as all that jazz, but I got it because I love the movie so much. So just the fact that I've got a Blu-ray for this movie makes me happy. Now, for this sale, I really wanted to get a Martin Scorsese movie. And I was hesitating between After Hours, which I saw recently and really loved, or the movie which I ended up getting, which is The Last Temptation of Christ. Now, I want to clarify, I'm not religious in any way at all, but I love movies not about religion, but about the religious stories. So the stories of Jesus, or the story of Moses. For those who haven't seen it, I highly recommend the movie Prince of Egypt, which is one of the first DreamWorks movies, like pre-Shrek. And it's a movie about the story of Moses and dividing the sea and shit and all that stuff. And it's really good because I might not be religious, but I've got to admit that the stories in themselves are really good stories. And so this movie is great. This movie's fucking good, and I highly recommend them to anyone, whether you're religious or not, or whatever your religion is. They're just really, really good stories. And I mean, Willem Dafoe in this in particular is really good. It's kind of weird seeing him so young. I'm used to seeing him as, Norman Osborn, like in his 40s and 50s. But seeing a young Willem Dafoe play Jesus is really, really fun. It's not necessarily my favorite Martin Scorsese movie, but out of the bunch that are released on Criterion, it's one of the movies I was most interested in getting. Looks like we've got another pretty thin booklet. Actually, I think it's even thinner than the Afterlife booklet, but whatever. I'm sure the essays are going to be interesting as well. As far as bonuses goes, there's an audio commentary, there's a gallery of production stills, research materials, and costume designs, so that's got to be pretty interesting. A location production footage shot by Scorsese. So I think what this is, I think I saw it on YouTube, but it's kind of a production vlog by Martin Scorsese on the shoot of the movie, which is always fascinating to see. There's also an interview with composer Peter Gabriel. I didn't even know he made the music for this. And there's an essay by film critic David Ernstein. So I'm very excited to be looking at all those bonuses, and I'm glad to have this movie in my collection. So we're about halfway through with the movies. This next one is kind of a recent discovery. I saw it first a few months ago, and when I saw it, I immediately knew, like, next Criterion sale, I'm getting it. And that's Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai by Jim Jarmusch. Jim Jarmusch is not the director that I'm most familiar with. I've only seen this one and Down by Law, and I gotta say that I like this one a lot better. Not that I didn't like Down by Law, but it wasn't entirely my thing. And then I saw this and I was blown away by it. It's such a fun movie. For those who don't know, it's basically about Forrest Whitaker, who plays this weird guy who's known as Ghost Dog. And he's kind of this gangster looking guy who is way into samurai and the samurai code, and he follows the samurai code. It's basically kind of his reason to live in a way. Basically his main job is he's a hitman for the mob. So the whole movie is basically just him killing people for the mafia and getting in trouble for that. And it's a really fun movie. The main character in particular is the main interesting part about it, and he's such a well-written character, and the way Forrest Whitaker portrays him is really amazing. It was a really big surprise, that movie, but I highly recommend to anyone. I also really love the way the mob is portrayed in this. For some reason, I haven't really looked into it that much, but every single scene the mob is in, there's always someone watching cartoons. I don't know if that's a way to kind of like ridiculize the mob and make them show as not as serious as they're usually portrayed. But I just thought it was really interesting, and I'm very glad to have this movie in my collection. Also, as a huge Akira Kurosawa fan and a huge fan of old samurai movies, in many ways this movie is kind of a tribute to those movies. The way Ghost Dog is written is kind of similar to a lot of, Yojimbo type characters, which I really love. Oh, that's it. Oh, what is that?
Yeah, shit.
Oh, is that? Wait, that's not for real. No fucking way, dude. So in this book, he's got a book that's the book of the samurai, which basically tells the way that a samurai acts and what a samurai should be. And this is a small excerpt from the book. I didn't even know that was part of the Blu-ray. That's actually so fucking cool. I'm definitely gonna be reading this. This looks fascinating. And the booklet in itself is also really thick, which I love. It looks like there's the usual essay, but there's also an interview with Jim Jarmusch. Yeah, I'm gonna be reading the whole thing. That looks really interesting. So that's a nice little surprise from Criterion, as always. So yeah, Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai, really good movie. I'm really happy to have this in my collection. Now the next movie is a complete blind buy. I haven't seen anything from this movie, but recently I got really into books. I got really into reading, and I've been trying to read some of the literature classics, and for some reason recently a book that I've been kind of interested by is War and Peace by Tolstoy, which is a really long read. It's like 1,000 or 2,000 pages, like it's absurdly long. And I thought that before reading the book, I might as well watch the movie, which, just like the book, is massive. I think it's 5 hours or something. The only thing I saw is a few clips on YouTube, and the cinematography in this is out of this world. It's amazing, especially from this was made from 1966 to 1967, and especially for a movie from that time in Russia, it's really quite something. So I'm really happy to have this. So this is kind of a gamble. I have no idea if I'm even gonna like this. I feel like this is the type of stuff that I could enjoy, but I've just got no way to know until I've seen it. Oh, so the booklet is a poster. So let me see. So this comes with a really nice poster, which is basically the same design as in the cover. I'm not a big fan of those posters with that are folded up like that. So I don't think I'm actually gonna be hanging this up on my wall. Besides, I've got some nicer posters in other Criterions, but I'm very happy to have this. So this comes with an essay, which I'm probably gonna be reading once I'm done with the movie in itself. So this has 2 discs. So I'm guessing there's 1 disc for the movie and another for the bonuses. So as far as the bonuses go, there's some interviews with the cinematographer, an interview with the son of the director, 2 documentaries about the making of the film. There's some interviews with historians, and there's the essay. So there looks to be a lot of especially in terms of documentaries, there seems to be a lot of interesting stuff in this. So I think the bonuses in this and the movie will be a great companion piece with the book in itself, which I'm excited to read. I don't know if I'm going to read it anytime soon because it's massive as fuck, but we'll see. Now, next, I always try to get one digipack at least because I don't know why. I just love when it's not the traditional Criterion boxes. Though I've heard that they've stopped making digipacks, which is kind of a shame, but anyway. I only got one digipack this time, and it's Elephant Man. Now, I've been trying to get Elephant Man for, I think, the past 2 sales, but every time I wanted to get it, it was always sold out. So now I was finally able to get it. I'm very happy about that. It's not, let's be honest. It's not the best David Lynch movie. It's one of his least Lynchian movies in a way. It was his first kind of actual professional studio film. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure this is his second film, the first film that he made after Elephant Man. And while it's not as Lynchian as, let's say, I don't know, Mulholland Drive or Lost Highway, I think it's a phenomenal movie. I think the performances in this, especially from Anthony Hopkins and motherfucking John Hurt, are amazing. They're so good. The story in itself is so tragic, but it's such a good story, told so well. And though it's not the most Lynchian movie, I think that Lynch was a very good pick to tell this story. Now let's open it up. Yeah, it's kind of though it's a digipack, it's kind of just the usual stuff that you get in any Criterions. You got, that's a nice booklet though. There seems to be some really cool stuff. There's a nice little illustration here. It's pretty cool. Let's see what kind of bonuses we have here. There's some interviews with David Lynch, John Hurt, and producer Mel Brooks, who, fun fact, wanted to take his name away from the credits because his name is so attached to comedy, and since he produced the movie, he didn't want people to go into it thinking it was going to be a comedy, so instead he just wanted to erase his name from the credits, which is a very humble thing to do. So shout out to Mel Brooks. There's a Q&A with David Lynch at the American Film Institute. There's a documentary about Joseph Merrick, who's the Elephant Man. Another interview with David Lynch, and a film essay. So, yeah, kind of the usual stuff. But again, I'm definitely looking forward to reading all of this. All right, we have one Criterion left, and it's Lady Snowblood 1 and 2, which may surprise some people. It surprised me because I had no idea there was a second Lady Snowblood. I've seen the first one, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. I was blown away by it. Like, oh my god, that's a good movie. One of the best samurai movies ever. One of the most underrated samurai movies ever. The cinematography in this, it's so good. The blood, like, I know I'm not the first person to say it, and it's kind of a weird thing to say if you haven't seen the movie. This is the best looking blood I've ever seen in any movie ever. Just the color, it's so bright, it's beautiful. I haven't seen it in a few years, so I'm really looking forward to rewatching it. And so I'm not going to be spoiling anything, but with the ending of the first movie, I don't really understand how there can really be a sequel. And from the reviews that I've seen, it doesn't have like a terrible rating on Letterboxd, but it's not nearly as good as the original movie. So I'm really curious to see what that's all about. And I'm open to the idea of maybe not liking this movie. That's all right. The first one is so good. I don't care if the sequel's bad. But let's look into it. So, all right. So we have another poster here. And it's a pretty nice poster. But again, I'm not going to be hanging it on my wall, I think. But thank you, Criterion, for this poster. And it comes with one essay, just like War and Peace. So in terms of feature, there's not a lot of stuff here, but there's an interview with Kazuo Koike, the writer of the manga that inspired the movie, and screenwriter Norio Osada. So it's going to be pretty interesting. And besides that, there's a trailer, there's a new English title translation, and an essay. So it's kind of weak in terms of bonuses, but I don't really mind. The movie's so good, I don't care. And yeah, that's it. So here are all my Criterions. I've also got the second All That Jazz, which I don't even know what I'm going to do with this. I hope I can manage to sell this somehow. I don't know what I'm going to do with it if I can, but whatever. I'm really happy to have those movies here. I'm excited to be watching and rewatching them. And yeah, so that's it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. If you liked it, you can like, comment, subscribe, and I guess I'll see you in another video. See ya.